Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to lecture 3 of chapter 1b. Remember, chapter 1 introduction is divided into two parts, 1a and 1b, and chapter 1b is fracture, fatigue and creep. And today we are starting lecture 3. So as usual, we will initially review lecture 2, what we did there. Then today in lecture 3, we will talk about design using fracture mechanics. We will solve the pressure vessel example that we left you with last time, and you have hopefully solved it. We will solve it together today. Then we will go to the topic of fatigue of metals, and under there we will talk of fatigue of metals, then fatigue testing, then the SN curve, and then cyclic stress. And as I keep on repeating, many of the things that we are doing are a repeat of your previous courses in material science, manufacturing, machine design, and so on. Some of the topics will be new, some will be old, but even if they are old topics, we want you to look at it with a new bulb shining on your head, a new light there, inshallah. Let us quickly look at what we did in lecture 2 last time. We had assumed that you would have submitted short homework 3 on Tuesday last week, but there was some confusion. Some of you did not, but we started discussing the solution of this homework. Then we started with the actual lecture that was sort of a revision of your material science, but hopefully with a very new light. Stress intensity, how is it defined? A stress intensity factor in terms of the geometry factor, the applied stress, and the flaw size or the crack size. The material property called fracture toughness, which is a critical value of the stress intensity K1C. Material properties of fracture toughness and yield strength for some standard engineering materials. Measuring of fracture toughness, and especially mentioning the thickness of the material, capital B, which should be a minimum value to make certain that the test is conducted under plane strain conditions. Showing you the compact specimen and the way it is broken during the standard fracture toughness test. Giving you a comparative comparison sort, right, for fracture toughness values of metals and alloys and ceramics and polymers and composites. Then an example about fracture toughness based on K1 and using the critical value of K1 as K1C. So you solve this example, of course. Then I gave you this problem and asked you not to look in the solution, about application of design using fracture mechanics for a spherical pressure vessel, right? And taking one design approach of yielding before failure, and then the other design approach of leak before break, and giving you the table, that this table is there in the table B5 in the appendix in your book, where different materials are given, and I asked you to apply approach A and approach B on, say, first steel alloy 1040, then steel alloy 4140, then steel alloy 4340, and so on, right? So this is where we stopped the discussion last time. So after this, we start your lecture 3, right? So first of all, I have assumed that all of you have attempted the previous problem, and we have announced through email that Tuesday in class we will have your quiz 1. So I always know that topmost in your mind is the quiz, So let us discuss quiz 1 and other quizzes and exams during the course of the semester. Quiz 1, of course, will be on Tuesday, 6 October during the class time, which means that it starts at 12 noon. It will depend on how long it is. Usually, if we are actually in the class, a quiz to me is 30 to 40 minutes. So usually when there is a quiz, I actually do lecturing. During the first part, we do lecture for 40, 45, 50 minutes, then take a break. And then in the last 1 hour, I give you a 30 to 40 minute quiz, right? So that is how we usually do. For quiz 1, the coverage I told you will be chapter 1A full and chapter 1B from start until before fatigue of metals, right? So whatever we have covered before fatigue of metals, which means in essence whatever we covered till the last lecture, right? Whatever we covered till the last lecture. The pattern I told you, it could include different things. One type of questions are multiple choice questions, true false questions, and so on. The other is short theory questions. I give you some to define something, to explain something. I give you a case study and just ask you to quickly answer it. And then of course the standard numerical problems, just like we have done in the previous lectures and so on, right? If they are MCQs true false type, then they will be done directly online on the Moodle, right? You open that question on the Moodle and you directly, you know you have done it in so many courses now. So you do the multiple choice or the true false and so on directly there. Other questions which are like short theory questions or full numerical problems, for each question you take a blank page, write your name, ID and question number on each page. Name, ID, question number at the top of each page, and say you solve it. Say it is question 1. You solve it, whether it takes 1 page or whether it takes 2 pages, you solve it. Once you solve it, right, once you solve it, you scan it to a PDF and then upload it on the Moodle. So it is there on the Moodle. You have clicked on the Moodle, but this is like an assignment type of question and it has a time limit, right? It has a time limit of 25 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. So you have opened it. The question you can see on the Moodle. On your blank page, you don't have to write the question, you just have to write the question number. But always write your first name and your ID number and the question number on each page, and right? So then you say page 1, page 2, and you solve it. If it is solved in 1 page, it is 1 page. If it is solved in 2 pages, it is 2 pages. And once you finish it, then you scan it to a PDF. I would always want you, do not upload the Word version of your answer. Do not upload BNG or JPEG or those type of photos. You can, but the best thing is that you scan it as a PDF, save it as a PDF and then upload it. And for that I have told you that all of you may already have it, but if you have downloaded Cam Scan, this is a simple free software on your phone. On your phone, you don't have to do it on any other. On your phone you have a Cam Scan, and then you scan 1 page, 2 page, 3 page. You can do it together at one time, and in the end when you save it, then you save it as a PDF, and once you have saved it, you upload it to Moodle, right? You upload it to Moodle, and I have told you in the email and so on that the name of the file should always be the question number and so on. So you see the name of the file, question number, name, ID, and you upload it. Okay. For all your quizzes and exams, they are open book and open notes. Open book and open notes. If you were in the class physically, then open notes will not be there, because I cannot check. But here I am saying that you can open the Anderson textbook. You can open the Anderson textbook. You can open my class notes. But no other sources no other sources, internet or students or other friends and so on. And that is why you have signed an honor statement, right? You have signed an honor statement. And right, so this is important. Please make sure this is your honor, right? You are signing that you will not take help from anybody else, and you will not look into other sources other than the textbook and lecture notes. This is more than enough, and you solve it yourself. Now, one thing is that the questions will be sequential. I will not give you, say, if there are 3 questions, I will not open them in the Moodle at one time. I will open question 1, give it whatever time, if it is to be finished in 15 minutes, then after 15 minutes, this will be closed. Then question 2 will be open. Then question 3 will be open. So sequential means finish and submit one question, then the next question will be opened, right? So this is how we are going to do it, to give equal opportunity to everybody, and to discourage unfair means. You see, technically you are signing an honor statement, and to me that is enough. If you say that I have not taken help from anybody else, then that is it. But unfortunately, na'udhu billah, if any of you or any friends and so on do try to take unfair advantage, then to discourage that, we are not uploading all the questions at one time. So that, yes, if this MCQs is, say, I know that you should finish it in 10 minutes, but I am giving you 12 or 15 minutes, a few extra minutes because of internet and so on. But after 15 minutes, it is closed. Then a few minutes after that, then question 2 is opened. If I think that it should be finished in 15 minutes, then it will be closed in 15 minutes. If I think it should be finished in 20-25 minutes, then it will be closed after that. So the timing of open and close on the Moodle will be according to this, right? And then you have finished the whole quiz. Similarly, if you go to the midterm time, then the midterm maybe will be longer. The quiz should be 30 to 40 minutes total, including all the questions. The midterm should be 1 hour 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour 50 minutes, roughly like that, right? Something less than 2. So within 2 hours it will be finished roughly, and so forth. Okay, so this is how your quizzes and exams and so on will be conducted. If you have listened to it before the 1 p.m. session, online session, then you can ask questions about it. Okay, you can ask questions about it. If you have not, then it's up to you. Also, about the quizzes and other exams, how will you be helped? You see, the theory is there. I am trying to explain it as much as I can. For the solved problems, the numerical problems, there are solved problems in the lecture notes. There may be solved problems in the Anderson textbook. There may be solved problems in the Callister book. Then I don't know if I asked you to go through the textbook section by section so that you could answer me which parts of chapter 1 are from which area. But I don't know if you have looked at chapter 13. Anderson is written in a very different way. Chapter 13 is only a chapter about solved problems or unsolved problems. So you get practice about chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, all in chapter 13, right? All in chapter 13. And then if you have any other textbooks which are about fatigue and fracture, if you have any other notes or any other things from the internet about fatigue and fracture. So, right, so these are the sources. Solved problems in lecture notes, solved problems in the textbook, solved problems in Callister, chapter 13 of the textbook, and any other sources where you can find problems on fatigue and fracture. Okay, so this I think should be enough for your all the quizzes and exams and so on. And then of course I have your live sessions where you can ask me questions.